So Compass is buying anywhere. That's the parent company of Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's, Cochrane. I guess there's a bunch of them, right? And I'm going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of this. And let's do this. So first of all, the good, right? So scale, tech brand, 340,000 agents, all under one brand. Kind of neat. I guess there's some synergies to that. Compass has strong tech tools. Anywhere has a massive brand recognition. So you pair those two together, not too shabby. On paper, it looks like a juggernaut, right? Like big names, widest footprint, slickest platform. But here are some things that are bad, right? So the bad, integration, right? You got to integrate all of these brands in some way. And there's actually a little bit of a cultural clash, right? Because some are corporate owned, some are franchise owned, a lot of different mindsets among them that you're going to have to gel out and make work. They're saying that they're going to have some synergies, right? The synergies mean basically job elimination. There's no other way to put it, right? A synergy is I have an admin here, I have an admin here, and I don't need both of them. I got to put those together. That will happen leadership levels, back office levels, finance and accounting levels, admin levels. There has got to be shakeouts because they're saying 250 million of those. If that was the case at an admin level, that's like 5,000 admins, right? So we're not talking small numbers here. Now, the catch is that when Anywhere started to gobble up all these folks a pretty long time ago. It wasn't a short time ago. They've had probably 15 years of these companies being integrated over the years. They didn't do a very good job of doing consolidation or debt consolidation, right? Century 21's carrying $2.2 billion in debt, I believe is the number, over to this transaction. Compass was running at negative. In fact, they're still running at a gap negative today. And then you have Anywhere who like made $17 million on a $1 billion business, which was like terrible numbers, right? So I guess my take on this is we're trying to put together two wounded companies, right? And it doesn't make one that's stronger. Compass is eating the giant, right? So Compass is the small little guy biting up this giant, all stock deal, heavily inflated stock deal. I forget what it was, 84% of value or something like that, some crazy number, right? And Anywhere is just weighed down with debt, and they're bringing that into the fold, and putting that together doesn't suddenly create strength, right? And then the integration nightmare, like I said, they tried this already, right? They've put all these brands together, and the synergies were very limited that they found. The cost cutting was very limited that they found. And they're very different cultures altogether, some mid-market, upper market, lower market, and it just didn't seem to work. And, when you're talking about some of these legacy brands, they weren't exactly known for pioneering on the technology side. And here's Compass, who's touting that they're a tech company in real estate, and they're going to try to force that on all of those agents that didn't want it in the first place. On top of the fact that some people don't like Compass's position with this whole Zillow thing, right? Some of these firms were vehemently opposed to it, and now you're going to be rolled in the next half year or so into this. So crazy. So franchise heavy traditional network versus Compass's luxury tech model. I think that's a big deal. Agents and staff probably will feel pretty disconnected from that. Redundancies, layoffs, you're going to see a lot of that. And it's the nature of any consolidation. This isn't unique to this deal. But I think what you'll see is, some brands, they bring on agents saying, we'll give you all this extra help. Well, that help can't exist if they're the ones that were eliminated. Something to think about. It hurts service morale, all those things. And then the customer experience, you're going to have 5 of them, 10 of them. Right now, they have a bunch of different customer experiences, right, between each of the firms. Now, I know that agents really reside at the core of it, but there is some tone set by the brokerage, and all brokerages have a different tone. I know agents in all of these brokerages, and I know tons of them are rock stars, like total awesome agents, and they'll be good anywhere they go with any moniker over their name, and they're going to provide that level of service. But for the average Joe, they usually set the tone by who they are. Market timing, I'm going to be honest with you, like this deal couldn't be worse market timing than ever, right? Because it's so heavily debt laden that the slightest swing in the market downward, these guys are barely making money, if at all, right? They've been raising capital like galore and paying high debt interest on it. And all of a sudden, you have a market turn and things go down. There is no buffer at all for either of these companies. Like it's a dance with death, right? So very, very slippery slope that they're on. And I think that is probably the thing that is most relevant in this whole thing, is that they're basing this all on business as usual. But we all know we're seeing markets change. The slightest swing in markets, and these guys are in deep trouble. They do not have the cycle or the cash to survive that easily. And kind of like the salad bar at Sizzler, they start taking the tomatoes and the lettuce away and all that stuff. In my eyes, bigger isn't always better, especially in real estate. And here is why. This behemoth has to get all of those 340,000 agents moving in a direction. I can tell you that we are a very independent bunch in real estate. Getting everyone to move in a similar direction is an act of God. It's not an act of a company that can make it happen. And that is so unlikely in our business. And that's why I'm saying that I think this is not a good thing. I don't care about antitrust, behemoth size, because it doesn't matter to me, because I'm competing based on my services individually, and I'm going to win every time against them. But more importantly is that it's not good to be in a place. And I called this rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, because no matter how you rearrange the deck chairs, the Titanic's still going to sink. And when you take on this kind of debt, I think it's 3.4 billion total dollars in debt is what they've absorbed on top of a extraordinarily high acquisition price. The markets reacted weirdly. The Compasses went down. Well, I shouldn't say weirdly, predictably. Compass's stock went down, Anywhere went up because they seem like a good candidate. And we will see over time how this thing works out. But for me, I give it a big thumbs down. I think it's a bad move. And Compass was on the right track before this. And time will tell. If I'm wrong or right, it's on video now.